12:05 on the dot. All right. So I'm very pleased to present our guest speaker today. Ekolu Lindsey is the Maui Cultural Lands president. In 2015, Ekolu was part of a 500-mile journey aboard the voyaging canoe Hikianalia as she sailed to Papahanaumokuakea Marine National Monument in the northwestern Hawaiian Islands to conduct reef surveys and fish monitoring to help better manage Hawaii's marine resources. Ekolu also co-founded Polonui Hiu, the first community-managed Makai area on Maui. He sits on many nonprofit boards. He wears many different hats and donates his time very freely to create a better world by serving the present for those not yet born. And so his life is truly dedicated to Malama Aina, Aloha Aina, caring for this place, not just for us now, but for all of those generations to come after us. He's going to be sharing some information today about how visitors can learn about, help protect, and be respectful to our island home and ecosystems. So without further ado, I'd like to pass it on and welcome Ekolu Lindsey. Mahalo for joining us.
Thank you, Serena, and thank you, ladies, for wonderful presentations. And mahalo, everybody, for sitting through a long Zoom meeting. I know how itchy that can get. And your information has been pretty awesome. So my presentation and my intent today is not to present you with more information. I'm just going to tell you what I do, how I do it, where I do it, and what we can do collectively to just make our place better. I will present many educational opportunities for you to immerse yourself in. So what you're looking at here, this is where I'm actually talking to you from. This is my grandfather's refrigerator. We've seen the decline in our marine environment. I mean, if we had to feed ourselves off of this reef now, we couldn't. There's just not enough biodiversity in this space. We've lost lots of limu. We have lost a lot of the fish sizes and the types of fish. My grandmother used to be able to put her order in for dinner. Her grandfather would go out, catch it. It was never the same fish order. It was always different. So with this, how beautiful it looks, when you look a lot closer, you'll see that there are about 30 swimming pools. You got a hotel, you have a commercial center, and to the upper left-hand side, at my screen anyway, is where Moku'ula Mokuhinia exists, arguably one of the most important cultural sites within Hawaii. So I raised my hand one day and I says, hey, I got someplace we can go and save within the Maui Nui Marine Resource Council. And this is where my journey actually begins, really putting boots on the ground. When we talk about taking care of your places and conservation, we look at a couple of different lenses. For me, I can break it down to your Western and your cultural lens. When you try to protect and preserve anything, you put a tape around it and you let it come back. The one that says do not enter. Through the cultural lens, you learn about it. You learn how to use it. You learn its spawning cycles. You learn when to harvest, when not to harvest. You learn what moon phase to harvest in, right? So effectively what you're really looking at in leadership, and leadership is synonymous with kuleana. Kuleana is a responsibility, right? So we have a duty to perpetuate it and an obligation to pass it on. And these two, the duty and an obligation, is really hard to learn unless you're really in it. Otherwise, these are just words. So you have to be in it and doing it in order to truly understand what this means. Because I'm guilty of it. I never understood it. Why is my mom and dad doing all this stuff up in the mountains, cleaning somebody else's yard? When we have our own yard, we call it natural growth. But I just wanted to share with you some of the things that we're doing and why we are doing it. So back in 2010, when we first started this Polonui Hiu project, what we did was we brought together many different community groups from several different areas within Maui Nui to understand what it is we need to do. And the first step in doing that is really digging in and understanding your place with maps, but also taking into consideration how you got there in the first place. The invasive species that we've been talking about, really it's people. Most of this stuff is people problems and the opportunities that exist in the world when you talk economics. And I noticed, I expected a little more tour guides, but we have some in the conservation and the education realms. So I would be speaking to you all in the same, within the same space, but understanding how we got there is key with urban sprawl. You put in a road, you introduce invasive species, you put in a pump for a well for more water, you have the ability for more development. But you really need to dig into your resources and understand it, because most of us need to be reminded, how can we make decisions in the ocean if we're not looking at it? And for those of you who are involved in nonprofits or government or have access to these things, it is very important that we invite these decision makers to participate in the things that are truly important to us. So when we first started out, you see a little green dot there which says Pola Nui. That's the name of the ahupua our family home is in. This was our area of responsibility, where we were attempting to go with a community-based subsistence fishing area designation, which allows more teeth in government to protect the space. So we went on probably a 7-year journey. And along the way, we found that building up leadership and that kuleana with